Not good. And it's red, which throws you off. It makes you think it's off.
Oh, yeah, the students are over there on the left.
Their laughs scare me.
Okay, it's straight up 6 o'clock. I'm just... If I may have your attention, I would like to call the January 21st, 2016 meeting of the Tarrant County College District Board of Trustees to order. Mr. Gates, are there any public comments? Thank you. We do have a special presentation tonight. Ms. Robinson?
We are going to have an ESOL presentation by Southeast Campus. Dr. Coppola.
Good evening. I'm always better the second time. Chancellor Robinson, President Appleman, and members of the board. I know I speak for my colleagues when I say that it is always a pleasure and honor to address the board and showcase our wonderful programs on each of our campuses. At the Southeast Campus, the demographics of our students are constantly changing, reflecting the changing demographics of the Mansfield and Arlington communities. A program that has been instrumental to serve our growing international student population is the Southeast ESOL program. So at this time, I'm going to ask Mrs. Mary Sonato to briefly describe this exciting program. Mary?
Good evening, Chancellor Robinson, President Appleman, and members of the board. I'd like to begin by paraphrasing the courageous Hall of Famer and New York Yankees first baseman Lou Gehrig and say, "Today, I consider myself the luckiest teacher in all of TCC. I am privileged to teach some of the hardest working, most dedicated, focused, humble, and grateful students on our campus. ESOL students have an absolute thirst to learn as well as a deep respect for those that teach them. Although my students consider themselves fortunate to be in America and to have an opportunity to pursue their dreams, it is I who is truly lucky and blessed to be able to teach them." Students in the ESOL program come from all parts of the world to study and improve their academic English skills. Our largest population, however, is students from Vietnam, some 45%. 21% are from various Spanish-speaking countries, while our third highest enrollment at 18% is students from Arabic-speaking countries. We are truly diverse. Many English language learners use ESOL as an avenue to become TSI Met and college ready. Compared to native speakers of English who take developmental reading and writing courses, this passing rate is fairly comparable. Our real success, however, can be measured when we look at students who have completed ESOL and how they fare in their gateway classes. As you can see, ESOL students complete English 1301, Government 2305, and History 1301 with high success. Not only the language skills, but the critical thinking skills and the confidence acquired in the ESOL classes are all reasons for these impressive results. We have prepared a short video for you that will elaborate a bit more on the structure and success of the ESOL program on the Southeast Campus. We hope you enjoy. ESOL, English for Speakers of Other Languages is a program on the Southeast campus that focuses on building, refining, and applauding the academic English skills of students that are not native speakers of English. These students take reading, vocabulary, grammar, listening, speaking, pronunciation, or writing classes to enhance their language skills so they will be well prepared to take college credit courses at TCC and beyond. While developing their language skills, students also learn about the American college system and the culture and traditions of their new country.
I am able to go to shopping. I can communicate with my friends. I am able to communicate with my neighbors. Yeah, I see the difference between before you take these classes and after that. I think I can be more active in my society.
ESOL provides English language learners a safe and supportive home in which they not only learn, but enjoy opportunities to develop their linguistic confidence. This language self-esteem is essential for English language learners if they are to succeed in college both in and outside the classroom. On the Southeast campus, we are very proud of the collaborative team that we have built to support our English language learners. From their first encounter with their academic advisor, to the ESOL curriculum, to the additional resources available in the ESOL lab, to our numerous extracurricular language activities, we are here to support and promote our very determined and hardworking students. Applying for admission, testing, and registering can be a daunting task for a student unfamiliar with the American college system and its vernacular. We are fortunate to have an academic advisor who is an English language learner herself and who therefore understands the inherent challenges of acquiring a new language, who is here to advocate for our ESOL students and guide them as they navigate the system and process. Once students have successfully completed their application and registration process, they encounter instructors in the ESOL classes who are trained in second language methodology and pedagogy, who are creative and patient, and who above all else are cheerleaders for their dedicated students.
The teacher also help and they very friendly. Like my age, not too young, but I can do it, so people can do it. It's not very hard. Right now, I'm very excited because I'm still in college and I know about my future.
The ESOL program is special for my students because they get a chance to communicate with other students who are from different backgrounds, different cultures, different religions. The skills that the ESOL program students learn here, these skills will benefit them not only with work, it benefits them educational-wise. If they want to pursue a higher degree, they're really getting the skills in order to move on to a university and succeed there.
The best thing I received from ESOL class, first my English vocabulary, the grammar, and writing skill. Just build my confidence being speaking English. I'm going to use my English for high education.
ESOL classes are relatively small, anywhere from 10 to 23 students, allowing teachers to build a warm rapport with their pupils. Standards are set high, students are pushed to achieve their very best, and laughter is always a part of the classroom. On the Southeast campus, we are also very proud of the academic resources we have accumulated in our very own ESOL lab, which any English language learner can use to supplement their language and developing of English skills. Tutors, student interns, and student workers are eager to welcome and assist English language learners with homework assignments, test preparation, and English conversation 6 days a week.
I am aware of challenges ESOL students encounter. By using my own experiences, I can help them succeed in their academic career.
Over the past few years, ESOL has provided numerous extracurricular activities outside the classroom to help English language learners apply the skills learned in class to real-life situations. This additional avenue for English language learners to develop language skills will also provide an opportunity for them to spotlight their diverse cultures and talents to the greater student body, thus making our Southeast faculty, staff, and students more understanding and accepting of the diversity that exists throughout our community.
I meet every Friday with my conversation partner. That's a person who speaks English as their first language, so that helps me to improve my English so I can get comfortable around people who speak perfect English.
Many ESOL students have made and continue to make great sacrifices to come to America and to enroll in the ESOL program. They have set goals, have managed their time, family, and resources, and worked diligently each day to master their new language and understand their new culture. ESOL classes afford them the luxury of a little extra time to develop their language skills and assimilate into American culture. ESOL is a program full of humbling stories and remarkable faces. In closing, we would like to highlight some of these faces. Take a good look at them. Without a doubt, they will one day be your doctor, your social worker, an engineer, a teacher, or your mayor. But for right now, they are ESOL students who know that no dream is too big and that very soon they will achieve their dreams. Some former and current students from our program are with me tonight, and 3 of them would like to share with you what they have gained from their experience in the ESOL program. Ms. Paloma.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paloma Gutierrez. I'm from Mexico, and I've been living in the United States for about 4 years now. First of all, I want to thank you for the amazing opportunity that you have given me to continue my education by supporting the ESOL program. I plan to get an associate in hotel and restaurant administration at TCC Southeast Campus. I have to say that the ESOL program has helped me in many ways. I have gained confidence on myself, and I have learned to not be afraid of speaking, no matter the situation, but most important, to not be intimidated just because of my English. I'm honored to be the president of the ESOL Club, which we are beginning this semester. By having this position, I'm hoping not only to develop my English and leadership skills, but to be an inspiration and role model for the other ESOL students. Because if I can do it, I'm sure that everyone can do it too. I look forward to many successful opportunities to meet new people and to gain more confidence. Also, I would like to thank Dr. Coppola for his support and for allowing us to spotlight our ESOL program. Lastly, I would like to thank Mrs. Marcy Nato for all the support that she has personally given me, for believing on me, and because of that, I believe that I can do it. Thank you. Now, I would like to introduce my friend, Marcel Coffey.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Marcel Coffey. I'm from Ivory Coast. I'm 25 years old, and I'm studying business at TCC Southeast Campus. I'm so grateful tonight because you have not only welcomed us, but also you have given us the opportunity to express ourselves. I want to tell a brief story about me when I came in the United States for the first time. When I came, my first time here was very difficult because I couldn't speak English very well. And because of this fact, I couldn't have friends. I couldn't express my thoughts. But since I've joined the ESOL program, my reading, writing, and communication skills have enhanced. I can ask questions to my teachers. I can answer questions. I'm able to write an essay. I have friends. And the most important, I can live. I want to end by saying that the ESOL program is more than an educational program. It's a family that helps non-native Americans to be themselves and also to be better in their new country. Thank you very much for your extraordinary support, and I want to wish you a good evening. I want now to introduce my friend Lam. Thank you very much.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Lam. I come from Vietnam. I have been in the United States for 2 years. I am a student at TCC Southeast Campus. My major is elementary school teachers. First of all, I want to thank you for your support to the second language learners. Today, I want to share my experience about why I choose ESOL. Before I begin to take some basic classes for my degree at TCC, I need to take TSI. Unfortunately, I did not pass the test, so my advisor advised me to take ESOL courses. That is why I know ESOL program. And I took 4 semesters to learn ESOL. And taking ESOL improved my reading, vocabulary, listening, speaking, and writing skills. And I have learned new effective roles, methods, and the relationship between each skill in English. And this is my second semester at TCC that I take classes for credit. And I'm confident and say that ESOL helped me do well in school and participate in social activities. And besides, taking ESOL gave me a chance to learn new culture and values from my friends because they are all second language students like me. They come from different countries, but ESOL students have the same goal. That is how to be good at English and how to success on the path that we have chosen. Again, thank you to the board. Give me a chance to stand here and share my experience about ESOL. Thank you.
The popular African proverb, "It takes a village to raise a child," is certainly apropos when it comes to the ESOL program. With deep gratitude, I would like to thank Dr. Carrier, who first recognized the need for a special program to meet the needs of English language learners, and to Dr. Coppola, Dr. Jackson, and Dean Coates for their continued understanding and flexibility, as well as their enthusiastic support of our second language learners. I'd like to recognize the ESOL faculty and staff here tonight. They're in the back row. And personally thank them for helping me build the village there on North Southeast Campus. And lastly, I want to thank my outstanding students. Can you see why I feel so very lucky to teach them? They were very nervous. I said, that's okay. American speakers are very nervous too. And yet they came and did it, as nervous as they were, and I am so very proud of them. In closing, we have a small token of our appreciation for your support and all the support that you have showered on us. And we hope that when you use this umbrella, that you are reminded of TCC and how we serve as an umbrella of safety for our second language learners until they are well prepared to run in the rain and face their bright, sunny futures. We practice not handing you the handle there.
Miss Sonattle, we want to take a picture of the students.
Okay.
And perhaps the
Marcel, you wanna
faculty,
stay
is
for
there
a picture
room
real
for the
fast?
faculty to join them? Please come forward, and faculty, you too. And thank you.
I'm going to use it when I leave here. Thank you. You're going to be able to shoot me?
Oh, yeah, this is pretty worse. Yeah, he'll be, yeah, that's all right, everybody looking here, please.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. My only mothering comment would be, don't forget from where you came and who your people were and what your origins were, and honor those always. But we welcome you as part of our country and our tradition, our going forward in new traditions.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for sharing with us.
We do appreciate your support. Are there any questions we can answer before we leave tonight?
How many of, I know, thank you, thank you. How many of your teachers actually learned English as a second language?
None of our teachers. They're all native speakers.
They are.
Our academic advisor is a second language learner, and I
Okay.
think that's why, one of the reasons we're so successful. She understands the need for that little extra time to practice English, and she is vehement about getting them into ESOL classes.
Yeah, sometimes they make the best teachers. This is a credit course, correct?
It is developmental education. It is
Okay.
a credit course, but not transferable.
Okay. Do you also teach continuing education, ESOL?
They teach ESL, English
Okay.
as a second language, which is non-credit, and basically conversational English for work and life.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Tell them how many students we got. We got
Oh,
last semester
one other
two.
question. Is your husband in the room?
No.
Just say it.
Is that important to the ESOL program is what I want to know. The answer would be yes. You know, on the Southeast campus, if you want something done, you go see Mike Sonata. I go, I got it. Okay.
How do students learn? Is it word of mouth in the various?
You know, our students are our best PR. When I first got there and we started with 6 students, I was out to the churches and the community trying to build the program. But once we got it rolling, they are our best PR. In fact, we have T-shirts. You have one that says, "Ask me about ESOL." And I gave them each one, and I said, your responsibility is, when they ask you about ESOL, is to be able to explain it. And we've had students that say, I wore it to the market, and I got you 6 students, Miss Snattle. So I
And
said,
what
good,
is your
because if you don't
enrollment?
tell them, I want my shirt back.
What is
So
your enrollment now?
our enrollment last semester was, I'm an English teacher, not a math teacher. 256, and I think we're at 243 this semester. Yes, yeah, from 6 to 253, so it takes a village, so thank you. All right, have a good meeting and a good night. Thank you.
Thank you very much, all of you. You may stay if you like, or you're excused. We appreciate you coming.
Mastery of Teaching. Board members, I wanted to do more to highlight the individual faculty accomplishments. So the campus presidents have agreed, when they do a presentation, to cede some of their time for individual faculty presentations. They're only going to be 3 minutes each. And I'm going to ask Dr. Terry Mushela to come up here and introduce the Mastery of Teaching and the faculty from Southeast Campus who are involved in that. And for those of you who don't know, Dr. Terry Mushela is the head of our Faculty Academy.
Madam Chancellor, Madam Chair, board members, first want to thank you for the opportunity to showcase Mastery of Teaching Institute, which is a pretty groundbreaking faculty research project here at TCC. Tonight, we are spotlighting the 4 Mastery of Teaching Institute faculty from Southeast Campus, which had the most faculty participating in the first cohort year, which is pretty impressive. So I want to give you a little overview of the Mastery of Teaching Institute so that you kind of see where their presentations are coming from. You will see also at your places that you can look at later is the journal, which we've pulled all their reports together in from the other campuses as well. Let me start by saying that for decades, there's been a commonly accepted and very wrong myth that community college faculty can't or won't do research. Many people would say that, well, if they wanted to do research, they'd be at a university where it's required and compensated. Others said, well, yes, they can do research, but but not if they're not paid. Well, I think you'll be impressed that TCC faculty have proven both of those concepts to be completely wrong. The faculty at Tarrant County College who have participated in the Mastery of Teaching Institute have spent a bit over a year doing independent research working with each other. The Institute was established in the spring of 2014. It was designed by TCC faculty. The idea was thrown out, and then faculty themselves designed how it would work. And it was created, faculty applied to participate, and it was created to offer them a year of time where they could do research, analyze the research results, and implement the results into their teaching. At the end of that time period, they wrote up reports, which you have in your journal and you can look at, and you'll see some overviews. So with the guidance of Dr. Kelly Tribble, who's in my office, and he has served as their facilitator, the participants met monthly with their cohort of 8. They advised each other, they supported each other, they helped each other with interpreting statistics. They all worked together as a team and quite honestly spent probably untold hours of research on their own time, outside of the classroom and outside of the day. They did this, I want you to know they did this fully knowing they would receive no compensation for this time. They received neither release time nor stipend. And the only compensation of sort that they got was a commitment from my office to purchase software if they needed it, or journal subscriptions, or attend a conference based on the research they were conducting. The success of this program, we have cohort number 2 starting right now, and we're getting ready to take applications for cohort number 3. And the participants from this year have said we want a tier 2 faculty Mastery of Teaching Institute where they can continue their research with each other. So the success of the program is due to their hard work, but also the support of the presidents at the campus, in this case Dr. Coppola, who have okayed and approved for these faculty to use time in this way. So now I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Coppola, who's going to introduce each, and each is going to give you a brief overview of his or her research. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Last week, the Southeast Campus kicked off its 20th anniversary during Connections Week, and under the theme, The Spirit of Southeast. And nothing exemplifies the spirit more than the wonderful faculty and staff of which you will meet tonight. So I'm going to introduce our first scholar, Ms. Karen Hahn, who's an associate professor in accounting. Karen has been a full-time faculty member at the Southeast Campus for 12 years now. She has held her CPA license since 1984 and has worked in public accounting firms as well as private industry. She is currently a member of the Arlington Association of CPAs. She also coordinates our VitaPro site for free tax returns, and last year, 615 tax returns were processed with refunds of $927,937, all free. Her topic is examining the impact of course scheduling on student success and retention rates in financial accounting and macroeconomics courses. Ms. Hahn.
Good evening, Madam Chancellor, Madam Chair, and members. Dr. Piccola went ahead and mentioned what my subject was going to be, so I'm going to continue from there. But before I begin, I want to thank you for allowing the Southeast Campus Mastery of Teaching Institute individuals to come tonight and speak to you for a few minutes. And I also want to thank you for the opportunity that Mastery of Teaching Institute has afforded us. My study examined course scheduling to determine if it had an impact on student success and retention rates, because I believe that students in a 3-day, 55-minute accounting class did not perform as well as those in a 2-day, 80-minute accounting class. My study examined the relationship between the 3-day, 55-minute classes and 2-day, 80-minute classes in order to gauge student success and retention rates within financial accounting and macroeconomics for classes taught by the same instructor. And this was different than any other study that I had seen. They had used different instructors, and these were same instructors. Whenever possible, the selected classes were offered during the same approximate time of day. It covered a 3-year term for the study, and a total of 36 classes, 949 students were selected. A 2-sample t-test between proportions was performed to determine whether there was a significant difference between success rates in the 2 courses of students in the 3-day 55-minute and the 2-day 80-minute classes taught by the same instructor. And in addition, a 2-sample t-test between proportions was also performed to determine whether there was a significant difference between retention rates of the 2 courses of students in the 3-day 55-minute and the 2-day 80-minute classes, again taught by the same instructor. The results showed no significant difference in success or retention rates. Do you have any questions? At the end of the semester, when I was putting my final grades into WebAdvisor, I had this idea that my 55-minute classes did not perform as well. I thought there were more D's, F's, and W's than in my 80-minute classes, because I teach both during any given semester. And obviously, I was wrong.
And it takes a lot of courage to come up in front of a bunch of people and admit that. But how wonderful that you would take that kind of time and effort to
I enjoyed it. And again, I thank you for letting us have this opportunity at a community college level very much.
So what is your conclusion? What are you going to do as a result of this?
Nothing.
You know, what it does let you do, by the way, though, is now that you know that, if you had a significant difference, you could have altered the scheduling, changed classes.
Absolutely.
Now, since you know that you get the same results either way, so I think knowing that there's no difference is a valuable thing.
It is. It is. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Nobody was more pleased to hear those results than me. Considering the close to 11,000 students and the size of the Southeast campus, we need those 3-day-a-week classes like this. Next is Bhavani Kola, our instructor in mathematics. And Bhavani has been, we call Kola, has been in teaching field for the past 14 years. She earned her Master's of Mathematics from the City University of New York. She teaches students how to be successful using math as a medium of instruction. I'll let her introduce her topic.
Thank you. Madam Chancellor, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, thank you for giving me this opportunity to share about my paper. It's my favorite topic, engaging strategies and to see how to improve student success and retention. I was focusing mainly on math. When students take math classes, it's only because of 2 reasons. 1, it's a prerequisite. 2, it's required. So when they come to our classes, they get so much negative energy with them. So we have to work as twice, take it from negative to 0, 0 to positive. So in my study, I have found out that we as instructors have to focus on basic needs like psychological needs, safety and security, love and affection, and esteem. Psychological needs is if a student has worked overnight and he's taken a math class, night shifts and math class, might not work. And if you have students with disabilities, we need to take special care of them. And if love and affection is about veterans, students with who have been in war combat, when they come to class, they can't be as normal students, so we need to have a special interest on them as well. Esteem needs is about students who've been taking the classes repeatedly, twice, 3 times. We need to pay special attention and work out a specific plan for them. And types of students in classes that we have, success-oriented students, these are the students we love to have, but unfortunately we don't. Overstrivers, these are the students who care only about their grades. They don't care what I'm talking about, anything important. Is that going to be on the test? Yes or no? And then failure avoiders, it's a math class. They have math anxiety, test anxiety. You name the anxiety and they have it. And failure acceptors, these are the students who come fresh to every class and leave fresh, not knowing what happened before, what's happening in the class, what's going to happen after the class. So these are the kind of students we face every day. And some of the strategies that I found in my study are making students partners as a learning process. If I give them a little bit of freedom to pick how many quizzes they want and stuff, not giving them too many options again, they feel part of the learning process. Learning students' names. If I teach 7 classes, I try to by heart their names. Somehow I remember them. And if they know that you know their name, they care about the subject. Student consultations. If he or she gets less than 70%, I ask them to come see me. And they cannot attend the next class until they tell me why or what happened. Using humor in classrooms, it's a math class, so definitely it tries to break the tension, so humor has always been my plus point. Texting service, I have texting office hours. Students can text me, I can text them, absolutely. My number is not known to them. It's anonymous, they have different apps these days. And I have 2 kids who play soccer, so my soccer hours are my office hours. They text, I text them back, and they love this synchronous way of communication because they get the answers right away. And all my lectures are on YouTube. They like it too. Just in case you miss a class, you know where to go. And again, student engagement, my favorite topic, is the product of motivation and active learning. It's not a sum, because either one is missing, there is no success. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Don't run away.
I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm sorry.
So you're finding a measurable difference with using these techniques?
Yes, sir. Students do love it when we have. And last semester when I did it, I had 1 student drop out because he was kicked out. Apart from that, he was going to be in my class. But
I'm wondering, I'm doing a side shift here. If your students make use of the emporiums, the math emporiums that we have made considerable investment in?
They do make use of the emporium computers.
Okay. Somewhere along the line, I think I would love for you to study the effectiveness. I know we're collecting data all over the place on emporiums anyway, but it's one of those things that we had high hopes for, and so far, I think some fairly marginal results. So if you had an interest in that someday, then maybe we can even figure out a stipend thing. I don't know.
I do teach emporiums, but when compared to emporiums in regular classrooms, I like teaching regular classroom because in the emporium, my hands are tied. So
I understand. Well, just because we have them doesn't mean that they were a good investment. So.
Right. Any more questions?
I just want to compliment you on your approach to exploring different ways and creative ways of presenting math. I think that's very important because you're able to appeal to various senses because not all of everybody learns the same. So I just wanted to tell you I commend you for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and keep up the good work.
Thank you. Because when students come to our classrooms, the first thing they say is, "Ugh, I hate math." I'm like, "Thank you." I mean, yeah.
Well, also, sometime we'd like to have 5 minutes of your math jokes.
Yes, sir. You'll love them, trust me. Thank you.
You could tell Cola was one of the first faculty I got to hire when I came on a few years ago, and her sense of humor was saying, "You're hired," because we do have a lot of fun at the Southeast campus, just like everywhere else. And so next we have Mr. Ernie Gines, who's not a stranger to many of you. He's assistant professor of computer science. Ernie has his master's in computer resources and information systems from Webster University, an MS in management science from Troy State University. He has been with TCC for 16 years, and he received a Chancellor's Award for exemplary teaching in 2009. Please welcome Ernie to the podium.
Thank you. Chancellor Robinson, Mrs. Robinson, Master Chief, board members, thank you so much. It has been a phenomenal ride, especially this project. A successful foundation. You'll find the purpose of this research was to reflect and analyze two specific tools to help promote student success: the pre-post assessment model and the hardware troubleshooting skills. Due to a controlled model, the filter, this was unique, comparing eConnect classes to my face-to-face classes. I teach in both environments. The hardware troubleshooting skills assessment is a specific tool, analyzes the student's knowledge and critical thinking, and is administered at the end of the semester, the week prior to final exam. The methodology that was used for this assessment was to collect data from the spring of 2013 through spring of 2015. The course that was used was my PC hardware class. This is a technical foundation class that is part of all of our technical programs within Tarrant County College. And what is unique about this is, with the course, it's open enrollment, so it's not restricted to students. That's what I love about this model. It's very flexible. The focus of the assessment was to establish a baseline by administering a pre-assessment and at the end of the semester, a post-assessment. This assessment would determine their knowledge retention of the course content. 139 students were evaluated. This was unique. A detailed handout will be provided to you for your reading. During the pre-assessment, two major factors became apparent, which was interesting. The factors alongside observations: students had low levels of confidence, reading class content, and an overall lack of course knowledge. To combat this, the pre-assessment is given to my online and my face-to-face classes. However, with that lack of self-confidence, two things were determined that I even created a short video for them. Number one is, it is only used to measure their current skill knowledge level at the beginning of the class. And the second, I did not use this to calculate in their class GPA. So once they have that, and after with the math on that, you can hear the sigh of relief, even online. So it really gets interesting. And the design, a process and procedure was developed using the activities as you see that I have online. The result was really unique. At the end of the semester, as a result of this data, the retention was 96.87%. The success rate was close to 90%. What's really unique, I use the same model that has been adopted in other classes. For the fall 2015 semester, for example, my retention rate was 94.6%, with student success being 88%. All of the activities engage the students from critical thinking, problem solving, working in collaborative teams, and it measures everything that we're doing for effective teaching strategies. Also, by the time they finish the class, they develop the self-confidence that they never thought they had. And we are attracting more women into the information technology field. This is one of our objectives that we are constantly striving for. But without the support from the board, Dr. Coppola, and all of the administration, this would never be possible, especially with the Faculty Academy with their new branding name, yes, which is phenomenal, and it shows how we are growing, but the impact. You will be surprised when you read the detailed results. I think you will be pleasantly surprised. And this has led to other caveats, especially for eConnect. I had a conversation with Candy Center on how this can be utilized, and also with other disciplines using open resource material. At this time, are there any questions? Mr. Carter?
Not questions. I just think, it sounds like a simple thing. Do a pre-assessment of students' abilities, and then you can sort of map out not only where the class needs to go in general, but where people can go, where they need to go with individually. And I'm guessing it sounds like exactly what you're doing. It really does sound like teaching 101, but it doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't.
All the time.
It's applying what they've learned. That's where the skill assessment comes in, because we have labs and virtual labs that the students utilize. So this is what's unique about the model. It's measuring two things: what they're learning and can they apply it. So it's a performance-based approach. And this is where I think the rubber meets the road, because that will make them more competitive and give them the life skills that they need to be competitive in no matter what walk of life or courses that they are taking. Okay. Any other questions?
That's an astonishing success rate. I congratulate you.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. And it's phenomenal. With all the faculty in the different disciplines, we're learning from each other constantly. It's an ongoing. It really is. So again, it's a pleasure.
For me, that's the key, is learning from each other. That
Yes, sir.
you have all of these research materials that you're
Yes, sir.
using now and teaching each other and other campuses as well. I think you ought to go statewide on this sort of thing.
Oh, we're ready to do a road show.
Yeah, no, I'm
That's why.
serious. Student success is important, and
It is.
what you're doing ought to be shared. And
Yes, sir. Definitely.
We'll figure that out.
I appreciate it, sir, especially making them competitive in the job market.
Absolutely.
Which is so important. Thank you very much.
Roadshow,
And
I
again,
like that.
I appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much. Yes, Dr. Paul.
I'm real proud of, this is the last time I get to speak with you until later, so I just want to say how proud I am of faculty at the Southeast and also of this program. This has really, we get a whole lot of conversation going on the campus. And like you said, Mr. Carter, the success happens in the classroom with the faculty, so you're seeing some of the work. The last faculty member is Dr. Melissa Evans, Associate Professor of Health and Physical Education. She just received her doctorate from Texas Women's University. It's like this. So let's give her a round of applause. She's real proud. She worked hard on it. We always kind of support each other. She's our wellness coordinator and Blue Zone Campus Compact, and she makes me wear my Fitbit so I can get my 10,000 steps walking around campus, which I don't have a problem doing. And a member of numerous professional organizations, including the Texas Association of Health, Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance, the American College of Sports Medicine, and the Learning and the Brain Society. She also presents at numerous national conventions around the country. So without further ado, Dr. Evans.
Good evening. Madam Chancellor and members of the board, I want to thank you for this opportunity, as well as Dr. Coppola, who has been so supportive of all of our endeavors in the Mastery of Teaching Institute. And I want to take just a moment to say a special thank you to Dr. Michela and Dr. Tribble for their vision and their support in all of this, because it really would not have happened without them. So thank you very much. So my study, I wanted to start off here. I've decided, since we have such a short time, to use pictures to really summarize what we see going on in the literature review. The slide on the left here of, it doesn't work, okay. The skulls, the brains that you see there really summarizes what we see happening in the brain in a lot of the K through 12 literature. And there is a growing body of research really supporting that movement really enhances learning at the K through 12 level. There's not much research at the community college or even at the college level. So that is a new field that we're really exploring. The picture on the right is really from neuroscience, showing what movement does and really helps the brain. So it really does affect how our brain functions and works each and every day. So my study asked the question, will taking a kinesiology activity course prior to a lecture course enhance academic achievement in the lecture course, as we are seeing in the K through 12 research? My study looked at data that I took from the Office of Institutional Intelligence and Research. I looked at fall and spring of 2013 from students on the Southeast campus, and I basically had two groups. The first group took a kinesiology activity course, such as jogging, weight training, yoga, before a traditional lecture class with only a 10-minute, 5 to 10-minute segment break in between. And those courses embodied English, government, history, or math. And then I compared them to my control group, which was a lecture class, such as English, government history, or math, followed by another such class. So I knew they weren't working out on their time unless they were skipping class. So I compared those two groups, and I looked at their success rates, letter grade of A, B, or C. And the overall results showed no statistically significant difference. However, we did see some trends on this. If you will notice on the bar graph, the solid bar is the 2-day-a-week classes. We compared the 2-day Kines lecture versus 2-day lecture. And then the ones with the little bars are 3 days a week. So you can see in English, government, and history, those classes that met 3 days a week who did do movement did do better than those who met 3 days a week, lecture followed by lecture. The interesting thing was in math, we did not see that here. However, that is in complete opposite direction of what we are seeing in the K through 12 literature, because we are seeing very big improvements in math after they do movement in grades K through 12. So that was very interesting to me and surprising. So that spurs me on to think there's more to do here and more to look at a deeper level. So finally, kind of in discussion to wrap it up, there may be a possible exercise dose response, and that's one thing the research in all areas is beginning to look at. We don't know how much exercise is really needed to stimulate all the beneficial brain effects that we are wanting. Academic achievement was only measured using letter grades, and in this case, a letter grade may not have shown enough discernment between success there to really be able to establish significant differences. We also, just because we pulled the data, we were not able to control for things such as sleep, hydration, nutrition, stress, which we all know can affect learning. I was not able to pull attendance records from that either, so I did not have that data. We did not see a significant effect. However, we also did not see a negative effect, which for so many years there has been this myth that if we spent more time moving and we took it away from traditional classes, it would somehow hurt students' learning. We are not seeing that in both the K through 12 or in this research either. There was no negative effect. So that adds to the body of literature to support that moving is good for us in all kinds of ways. Questions? Okay, so thank you again. Oh, I'm sorry.
Were these in your different student cohorts, were they the same kind of students? I mean, how?
No, these were just students who took these courses, so it was broad spectrum of students. These were not cohorts. Okay. So we just pulled data of students who took an activity course followed by any English, any government, any history, any math, compared them to students who had 2 back-to-back lecture classes.
How many students total did you look at?
I'd have to look in my report. I don't remember.
It was a big group?
It was a large number, yes. Larger than I actually thought I would be able to find.
Okay. And so how are you now thinking about refining this?
That is one thing I'm really thinking about of how I want to dig deeper on this. Obviously, I want to go beyond just looking at ABC. So I may actually set up a smaller study where I can actually control a little bit better for things like sleep, hydration, nutrition, to control that and look at attendance as well. And also be able to measure something besides grades, because we know a letter grade does not always measure all the learning that goes on in a classroom. So sometimes other things can affect that. We do obviously want to look at the grades, but we may look at things such as focus and attention, which much of the K through 12 literature has also looked at, and there are ways to measure that.
Yeah, can you use the same students, in 2 different classes, but one where they have the exercise first and then?
That would take some work. We probably could, but that would probably be a longer study in order to be able to follow them, because we're not sure we could always get that every semester there. Because I made sure that they did not have time to go work out on their own. I had to control for that, so they had to take back-to-back classes. And sometimes our students don't. They'll take a break in between, or they'll go work or whatever. So sometimes finding just the same students makes it definitely more challenging.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much for your attention. Oh, one more question, I'm sorry.
What do you think the impact would be depending on the physical activity? In other words, if they were doing taekwondo versus swimming versus cycling, what do you
Right.
anticipate would be?
Currently, we don't. What we know from the literature and the neuroscience is that aerobic activities seem to have the best benefit. We are beginning to see a little bit with things like yoga with stress reduction. We haven't seen as much in things like weight training. However, that's an area of more research that all of the literature says we need to do more of, just like dose response, to see if we really, is there a certain amount we really need to get to. There's a little bit of literature on that right now, but not a whole lot. Most of them tend to say 3 or more days to really get the benefits you're wanting to see from the academic area. But that's an area that we're beginning to look at. But right now, aerobic seems to be what we are saying right after that aerobic activity.
Thanks.
Other questions?
Thank you so much, all of you.
Thank you. So remember, keep moving. It's not only good for our bodies, but also our brains.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to present. You'll hear from the other campuses, and then you'll get to hear from Cohort 2, Cohort 3, and then Tier 2. So can I answer any questions before? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much. It's okay. Oh, I think they do want their picture. Yes, sir. Thanks. Thank you.
They're getting behind us.
Yeah.
Getting behind.
I'll stand by you.
Get him to squinch in a little bit. Okay.
Can't leave Kelly out.
Thank you. Thank you. All righty. Wish us more success.
Oh, I think we're going to we are going to start.
We'll have a trustee test in a few minutes and have them explain T-test. I'm sure they all know.
We're going to stand up and... All right, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes of the meeting of December 17th, 2015. Motion to approve, please. Mr. Greenhill, seconded by Mr. Carter. Any corrections, additions, discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. Committee reports, institutional planning, Mrs. Vandergriff.
Okay, I'm up. Greetings, everyone. I'm going to be actually bringing you a motion, but I thought I'd need to do a little bit of a brief history as it relates to the Center of Excellence for Visual, Technical, and Performing Arts. It's been a process for everyone here on campus at the committee level, board level, and so I just need to go through and bring us up to date today. So let me just preface this by saying that the last meeting we had last week, we were focused on the opportunity to build the Center of Excellence for Visual, Technical, and Performing Arts on the TCC Northeast Campus. Last week, Tom Morsch from PFM discussed our ability to finance the project, and although there were many options for this institution to finance the Performing Arts Center, TCC is in the position to use a pay-as-you-go process over a 4-year period.
The vision for the performing arts venue on the Northeast campus was really considered in 1999. The needs and expectations of today's Center of Excellence for Visual, Technical, and Performing Arts are probably very different than 17 years ago. As Chancellor, Irma Johnson Hadley was committed to identifying centers of excellence on each campus and coined the term. Her tenure with Tarrant County College for 47 years captured the essence of a long history of quality academic programs and an institutional standard that makes TCC one of the finest community colleges in the nation. Chancellor Hadley knew in 1999 that the Northeast campus was a center of excellence, and it was evident then that the Northeast campus was known by students to be the go-to campus for performing and visual arts. In December of 2014, the IP committee met at the Northeast campus for a briefing on the campus input process and topics covered regarding a new performing arts facility. Dr. Gobin's Northeast Campus Task Team provided presentations that addressed academic programs to align students with pathways, stackable credentials, student success and retention, ways to decrease cost of the facility, and potential income stream and naming opportunities. We also toured potential sites for the facility. During this meeting, I reiterated to the committee that the technical portion of the naming aspect was extremely important to Chancellor Hadley, as well as the Board of Trustees. It reaffirmed the innovations and technologies that have emerged since 1999. Also, due to much of President Larry Darledge's community engagement in his tenure, the TCC Northeast campus aligned with a unique opportunity with the City of North Richland Hills for a collaborative effort to consider building the complex in the new town center. Subsequently, the last couple of years, there have been many discussions with North Richland Hills leadership, Mayor Oscar Trevino, City Manager Mark Hinman, and the Council. With a collaborative spirit, the Center of Excellence for Visual, Technical, and Performing Arts was determined to be a facility located on the Northeast campus, and the TIF would provide $8.3 million to support the effort. The center would also serve as the front door of the campus and provide a vibrant center for community use. Our committee members, Conrad Heed and Dr. Gwen Morrison, have noted the significant economic impact to the community, as well as the extraordinary opportunity for our students. The building itself should be a piece of art to provide an iconic building to be the pride of the Northeast community and Tarrant County College District. We have had presentations from real estate and facilities led by Nina Petty's team with Margaret Lutton, Kirby Chadwell, Gary Prather, and many others. They include feasibility programming and concept design study, a site study, and a review of the Innovation Forum report. The amount of time and effort to do this research and development to get us just to this point is extensive. Others who have worked tirelessly and consistently are Acting Chancellor Angela Robinson, Dr. Joy Gates Black, Carol Bracken, Nancy Chang, Mark McClendon, Dr. Gobin, and the huge support of faculty and staff that will assist and educate students to realize their dreams. So at our next IP meeting on Tuesday, February 16th, we are hopeful that perhaps we will be on the Northeast campus and will be briefed by Dr. Gobin's team in conjunction with real estate and facilities to determine the next step to moving forward with this facility. Out of respect and honor for the late Chancellor Irma Johnson Hadley, the Institutional Planning Committee recommends the Chancellor to proceed with developing plans toward completion of the Center of Excellence for the Visual, Technical, and Performing Arts to be located on the TCC Northeast campus.
The motion is from committee, does not require a second. Are there questions or discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Dr. Gobin?
Thank you very much, Mrs. Appleman, Mrs. Robinson, members of the board.
We are blessed with a beautiful yet aging campus at Northeast, and it is exciting to envision the future as Tarrant County College District embarks upon its next 50 years of service to Tarrant County citizens. On behalf of the entire campus, we appreciate your great support in revitalizing our campus with this and other key projects. As well, we thank the many people across campus, TCCD, and our community who have helped shape the vision of progress. The Tarrant County College Northeast Campus Center of Excellence for Visual, Technical, and Performing Arts will truly change our landscape for development and delivery of the arts in North Central Texas for generations to come. This building will anchor the campus and surrounding community as a central piece of architecture and function for the next 100 years. Campus and community alike will benefit as this facility is developed and opened. A great partnership with the City of North Richland Hills has helped launch this project. With your approval, and we appreciate that, TCC will enjoy a newly prominent visibility along Highway 26 of the North Richland Hills side of campus. This building will also be visible from the freeway interchange of 121 and 820. Along with our symbolic clock tower, the Center of Excellence for Visual, Technical, and Performing Arts will enhance the skyline and provide great visibility of our campus location. In terms of function, literally thousands of students and community members will frequent the facility for classes, performances, and other events. Our sister campuses and our district operation will also benefit, as we currently have no such facility within TCCD. Everyone will be able to use the facility for important meetings and events, and our capacity to host our own such internal events will increase significantly compared to current capabilities. This key project will launch a campus revitalization as Northeast Campus nears its own 50-year anniversary of service to the community. On behalf of the second oldest campus of the Tarrant County College District, I assure you that our excitement level is high, off the charts really, and our commitment to create the best possible future for our campus and district is unwavering. We look forward to helping lead Tarrant County College into our next 50 years as an innovative and engaging campus where the future truly begins today. We appreciate the vision and leadership of the Tarrant County College Board of Trustees to make this facility an icon of success within reach. Thank you.
All right. Item number 8. Mrs. Petty, the consideration and approval of deductive change order with Steele and Freeman for construction of the TCC Southeast Campus, Arlington ISD Collegiate High School. Okay. In the amount, a deductive amount of $1,198,282.04.
Good evening, 4 cents. Good evening, Madam Chancellor, Madam President, Board of Trustees. We're recommending that you accept this deductive change order of a lot of money, and we're pleased to give it back.
Motion to approve. Mr. Heath. He likes that. Seconded by Ms. Vandergriff. Any discussion, questions? All those in favor, aye. All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. Item number 11, consideration and approval of, item number 10, consideration and approval of indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity pool service authorization agreement with Bennett Partners to provide design services for space renovation to relocate TCC Connect campus staff to Trinity River Campus West Fork Tower in the amount of $139,173.26. Ms. Petty?
Yes, this is an important one since this is a requirement of SACS. So we're excited about getting Dr. Morales' team moved into the second floor of the West Fork Tower, which is 444 North Henderson, our new address for that tower, and we're asking for your approval.
Motion
Any
to
questions?
approve.
Second.
Mr. Greenhill, Mr. Heed made the motion, Mr. Greenhill seconded. Are there any questions? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You have a new address.
Madam President, could I ask a question on 9?
Yes.
Yeah, Ms. Bennett, on item number 9, this is a pretty large amount of money that we've gotten back. Can you explain how that was arrived at? Who came up with that and how that was determined?
Yes,
I think
it's
that's significant.
You bet, it is, and it's an interesting process that we go through, and I'm glad you asked the question actually, because it's a process that we put in place 6 years ago that I don't think is kind of traditionally done, but the key things around this process is that we have a very proactive process during both the procurement and the implementation stage of all of our projects that is ongoing. So we don't wait until the end of a project to do a reconciliation like this. And so there's a lot of things that we look at, and because we have the expertise of our team internally to be able to look at the hundreds and hundreds of line items that we go through when we're looking at a project, to ensure that we stop and look at those and make sure that we're spending the right amount of money on each of those, so that at the end, when we reconcile this, and I think you've got the paperwork in your change order, that it's right at the end. It's not something that we do after the fact. It's an ongoing process to come up with a credit like that. So, and it's everything from a $5 item to a $20,000 item, and at the end of it, it all adds up to sometimes a lot of money. And it's been very successful in the last 6 years, as you've seen over the years that we've been able to provide these deductive change orders for projects. And we're hoping that the next project that we have that will be closing up at the South Campus will have a similar type savings.
Yeah,
so,
very good. Thank you.
Thank you. I always like answering those kind of questions, Trustee Heed.
Item number 11, consideration and approval of indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity pool service authorization agreement with Bennett Venner Partners to provide design services for construction of an exterior stair tower for Trinity River Campus East Fork in the amount of $177,208.54.
Yes, and I'll just make a note that there is an error in the agenda item, that it's east. It really should say West Fork. Yeah. And Mr. Gates just pointed that out to me, so I just want to make sure it is the West Fork. This is associated with the Connect move. This is a very important item and necessary for us to be able to have. When those towers were built, they were built for a corporation, and so it's to ensure that we get the right loads in there. And the one point about this is that we're building this staircase as an exterior item. Unlike what we did at the East Fork Tower, we put an internal staircase in there. At the time that was just the recommendation of the designer. That was pre-me, and we felt like this exterior staircase would give us more usable space within the tower. So, but it is important, and it's going to come with some restroom work that we're going to look at, that if we need to have extra restrooms in there. So it's an important piece for the SACS approval. Any questions?
So with that correction, so that the agenda specifies Trinity River Campus West Fork in the amount of $177,208.54. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Mr. Greenhill, seconded by Mr. Heed. Any questions? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 12, consideration and approval of BuyBoard Cooperative Agreement with the Facility Solutions Group for purchase of materials for LED lighting system upgrade for Northwest Campus Criminal Justice Training Center and Academic Classroom Building in the amount of $226,560.75. Ms. Petty?
Yes, the only thing that I would just point out on this, it is two buildings. The 226 is split. You have that in your summary report and how it's split between the Criminal Justice Training Center and the academic building. This is a very important project in terms of safety and the best interest of our student and for student success, and definitely will provide more energy savings for the building. Any other questions?
Motion to approve? Mr. Heed? seconded by Mrs. Ayala. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, aye.
I have a
Oh,
question.
okay.
Approximately, when you're going to LED lighting from what? Incandescent or?
Old.
Huh?
Old lighting.
Is it that sodium?
I have to ask David Holt. I just
Yeah.
know they're old and dysfunctional and don't work very well.
Okay. How much cost saving do you think the LED lights will give us?
That's going to be a David Holke question.
You have to come up, David.
David will tell you more than you ever wanted to know about lighting.
That's what I want
He's
to know.
an expert on this.
How are you doing?
Good.
I didn't actually run the calcs on this building, but we ran calcs on several other buildings, specifically NACB at Northeast Campus, a little bit larger building. You get a payback in about 6 years between electricity and O&M savings, because you pretty much don't touch the LED fixtures after they have a burn-in period. Whereas you go back replacement cycles on maintenance on ballasts and the fluorescent tubes on the other fixtures. And your first question was what kind of lighting was. It is T12 old magnetic ballast type fixtures.
Yeah. Okay, and how long are these LED lights expected to last?
The type we choose have a in excess of 20-year lifetime.
Fantastic. Good.
So.
Yep, great. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Other questions? All those in favor? Did you have one? No. Okay. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
And I will point out that that's materials only. It's not, it doesn't include installation, so.
And how many people does it take to screw in a light?
A few David Holkes, definitely.
Aggies? How many Aggies? You knew that was.
You're getting real close here.
See, it's that humor thing. That's good. I was going to do jumping jacks before I came up, but, just to get that energy going.
Okay. Item number 13, consideration and approval of Texas Multiple Award Schedule Cooperative Agreement with Simplex Grinnell to provide equipment and installation of fire alarm system at Northeast Campus Student Center, Science East and Science West buildings in the amount of $299,613.01. Ms. Petty?
Yep, very important project for our safety and its security at the Northeast Campus. And again, it's the Science East and West and our Student Center. And it's the installation of these fire alarms. And there's obviously a lot of information on your summary, but any questions I can answer?
You need a penny?
No, don't need a penny.
Motion to approve
So moved.
by Mr. Greenhill, seconded by Ms. Vandergriff. Questions, discussion, all those in favor, aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 14,
Thank you very much.
Oh, wait, what about one more?
You got one more.
Cooling tower?
Oh, how could I forget your cooling tower that you've been waiting for all these years?
Consideration and approval of contract with Infinity Contractors to install owner-furnished cooling tower equipment for South Campus in the amount of $674,711.30. Motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Mrs. Ayala made the motion, seconded by Mr. Greenhill. Questions, comments? Owner-furnished. We already own it, have it?
I'm
Owner-furnished.
sorry.
What does owner, Mr. Carter's curious about the term owner-furnished.
David Waltz, you want to, good question, because I can't answer it.
I didn't understand that.
I just figured it was something we had
And
in
in your
storage
summary,
somewhere.
I think one of the things that our infrastructure team, Walt Williams, is doing is giving you the project plan in the back of that. I hope that on those infrastructure projects, you're always looking at that because it gives you the exact timing and questions about how we do it, because I know you get a lot of these items and you see where the design is, where the purchase of the equipment is, and where the installation is, because it's all phased out. So, but I'll let Walt answer your question around that.
Now, the purchase of the tower was approved at a previous board meeting,
see
but
that.
the reasoning usually is what it was in this case, about a $40,000 savings on us purchasing it versus the contractor. So that's why we do that.
And one other question, is this the highest technology energy-saving piece of equipment we could buy, especially given the fact that we have an energy technology center on the same campus?
It's the highest we can reasonably buy. That'll pay off. You know, it's got the very high efficiency fans, size right for our plant, and it should serve us well.
Okay, is there a SEER rating on those big items?
No, because it's not really converting energy. It's more or less pumping heat outside. So no, there isn't that kind of rating on it.
Okay,
That's usually the smaller stuff. This is big stuff. So
okay,
yeah.
It's kind of interesting, I think, when you talk about the domino effect. I mean, we have a new building or two on South Campus, and then since then it's been one related expense after another, not necessarily, well, they are directly related to the new structures and so forth, but it's like a big trip, you know, that, and maybe this will be the last one, but I did want to point out that you're going to get the same effect with this Fine Arts Performance Center, which is you think, well, it's going to be 60 million or 65 million, but it's not. It's a domino, a lot of expenses that follow.
You're absolutely right, Mr. Carter, but I would also say both of those campuses are really old campuses with a lot of hugely old infrastructure.
Are we near the end of this?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Ripple effect for South Campus?
I'll let Walt answer it, but the point I was trying to make is that even if we didn't have the Energy Technology Center or a performing arts coming on board, the infrastructure.
They're old, I understand that.
Really needed to be updated, but Walt can probably give you a more extensive answer.
There's a couple of projects coming up here fairly quickly to finish it out. There's an electrical project there in the plant and some chillers that need to be replaced, but we've darn near replaced the plant at this point. But we're close, but we've got a couple other items that'll be coming up.
What's the metrical effect?
Sir?
I heard you say metrical effect. Is that what, did I mishear you?
And you probably did. Electrical, I'm sorry.
Oh, electrical,
Yeah,
okay, I'm
yeah.
with you.
Motion to, where am I? Motion to approve?
We've done that.
Got that? Okay. Any other questions? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is approved. Thank you both.
Now,
And David.
thank you very much for your support.
Monthly financial report. Mr. McClendon?
Good evening, Madam Chancellor, Madam Chairman, Board. I want you to know that this is the beginning of the year's financial, so I hope you're just as excited as I am to receive them. All right. So we'll start by the overall financial comment. We're in the fourth month of the year, so we're looking at revenue and expenses that will be greater than 40%. Actually, 4/12 will be 33%. So if we look at our revenue, our state appropriations are anticipated. We're sitting on 43%. If we look at our property taxes, we received $70 million in the month of December. It's a little bit behind our historical schedule, which is sitting on 42. Our tuition shows 80%, and that's because we've received our fall and spring tuition as we expected. If you look at interest income, it's sitting on 41.5. We always remind you those are mark-to-market adjustments, so it doesn't mean that interest it's just how you reflect by GASB. You have to reflect every month what that interest is, and so sometimes it makes it look like that. I would like to take that credit, but it's a financial adjustment. So our total revenue is 48 versus 33%. So we're satisfied. It's a good revenue, and we're predictable in our revenue. So now we'll move to the expense side of the equation. And so we're going to look at items that are greater than 40%. So as mentioned, in September, we recorded all prepaid expenses appearing before 8/31. And so this causes some expenses. As you look, they look larger than the consumption of one month. So a prepaid expense will be something that has already been paid, but it benefits more than one period. An example would be software insurance. So if you look at the insurance, you would see 100%. Well, what it means is that all the policy premiums have been paid. So you have paid the whole 100% of your budget, but you will get that benefit for much more than that period. That's what it means. So we don't want you all to think that that we have expended more than 1 month, but that is. The other thing is you will see encumbrances. Those are obligations for more than one period, and that would be like a lease. So the lease, you will pay a lease, and that lease will service for more than 12 months, and that's why that encumbrance number shows at a higher percentile than it would be. Yes, sir?
On the insurance, is that something we have to pay all at one time?
You do. Yes, I'm not the insurance. I looked at the financial. Would you?
Yes, we have to pay in November.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay, and on the encumbrances, we just showing that whole thing. So if we look at all the expenses, if we go to the bottom, we don't think there's anything exceptional to report. We're looking at 41% versus 33%. And if you notice, probably one question that is keeping you up at night, why is it 41? Well, I just want to remind y'all that this month, we have paid off the final payment on the warehouse, and we've also paid the Alliance payment. So we have actually spent $11 million. So that is why our expenses are looking so good. I think we should all be very happy for that. Okay, so now we would move to our investments, please. Okay, so if we move to our investments, this is if we look at our pools, our beginning balance is $96 million. We have added a net effect of $36 million, and our ending balance is $133 million. If we look at our short term, you want to move a little bit so that they can see the caption. No, to the left. There we go. Okay, very nice. Thank you, Michelle. She is a master at this. I'm glad she's doing it, not me. Anyways, if we look at our short-term investment, we have a beginning balance of $5 million. We've had no activity, and we have an ending balance of $5 million. This has a lot to, it's not that we can't do it. When we come back to the WAM, you'll see exactly that is driving our strategy. You, as the board has asked us to keep a WAM of 365, and you'll see our number. Anyways, let's look at our securities. We bought 2 securities for $10 million. So the first security is from the Federal Farm Credit Bank, and it's got a maturity rate of 1.397. And if you look at the next security, as you'll see, the Federal National Mortgage Association, it has a interest rate of 1.9. And you'll say, why? Why didn't you buy 2 1.9? One is a 3-year and one is a 5-year. So the longer you will have, that's what interest. But we have to keep the WAM. So I remind the board that is what's driving us, and you'll see. The WAM is the calculation of everything according to the day. So if we look at our total portfolio, it's $247 million. And so let's talk about our investment performance. So that's really where it's all at, right? If we look at our yield through 12/31, it's sitting on 61%. If we look at this, compares favorably with a 32% of our T-bill. If we look at the spread, it's 29. 29 would be 0.61 minus 0.32. That means that's your 29%. Now, if we look at our reporting requirement, that is the WAM is 385. The board has asked us for a 365 WAM. It's difficult sometimes to calculate, but the WAM is what you do is you take every single individual investment divided by the total book value. It equals to a percentage, and you take that times the number of days until the security matures. So the WAM is for one security, then you add all the days down. So we're trying to bring it to 365. So how you do that? The way that you do it is you have more short term. That's the way, because the WAM takes the time of the investment. So in other words, if you have 5 years, you would take that investment times 365 times 5. So to get that WAM lower, it forces you to use go to shorter periods of time rather than long periods of time. So anyways, so that's what it is. So if we look at our total earnings is $169K, and our accrued interest is $261. Any questions?
Does the recent increase in the Fed discount rate affect anything at this point?
Well, I knew that was coming. Well, that just happened right now. We just bought it. But yes, your question, it will drive it up a little. Remember, it's only 25 basis points, but yes, you're right. We should see a little bit more higher rates. But again, I remind the board that you have given me the philosophy to keep me to 365. So 365 forces us to have more, you have to get that balance between short-term and long-term. But yes, to answer your question, it will. We'll do it.
And as interest rates increase, then we might consider a longer term if we get better rates?
Yes, sir, we would, but remember, you will hold me to the wham, but yes, that is but once the philosophy of the board that has given them is we've never taken, we let the long-term maturity on these investments, the only way that we would do it is we would let them cancel. We have never taken a penalty on them. But that is a policy, I mean, that is certain, that a board policy can always address that, but we don't do that. We let the ones that we have canceled, and we know that. That's when you see a lot of times when you see these long-term deals, if the interest, for example, goes down, the banks will sometimes, well, they will say, well, we'll pay you the premium and we'll cancel this because it is no longer, we don't want to pay you 1.9, so we'll pay that premium, it goes away, and you won't have it. As long, if your interest is going up, then that's fine.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Any questions?
Thank you.
Other questions of Mr. McClendon?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Chancellor's report. Ms. Robinson?
We have no new staff member introductions. On the data points piece, I've changed the format a little bit. For each KELP member that has provided data points, I've asked them to present one of their data points to the board in 30 seconds or less. And South Campus is going first.
Set your watches.
Chancellor Robinson, President Appleman, members of the board, I ask your indulgence, please, because I cannot use 30 seconds here. I have to begin by pointing out to the board that it was 4 years ago at the January board meeting that Dr. Coppola, Terry Mushela, and I were introduced to this board. There's a celebration at the Omni, and Bill Coppola is paying. As you know, we opened the South Campus Early College High School in conjunction with Fort Worth ISD last fall. And I want to share with you some profile information as well as outcomes information for the first semester of the operation of that school. We started with 103 students, ended the semester with 92. 11 of the 103 students came out of the South Campus's Gen Hope STEM after-school program, which is a really great thing for us. 5 ISDs were represented among students who are enrolled, the majority of them coming from Fort Worth ISD. 61% of students were Title I eligible, which is a proxy for lower income students. And the attendance rate for students in the fall, and this is the daily attendance, was 98%. And the overall passing rate for those students was 89%. So I think we're off to a great start and look forward to sharing with you greater success about the school. Thank you.
Thank you.
Northeast Campus, Dr. Gobin.
Thank you, and I'll take less than 30 seconds if I can. At Northeast, we wanted you to take a look at the first time in college students work that we're doing. And this is real preliminary data, but as we look at this in fall 14 compared to fall 15, our 8-week classes for our degree-seeking first-time in college students showed a pretty marked improvement this fall. The drop rate has reduced significantly, and in our 16-week classes, we're also seeing the same trend. So it's pretty early. We'll keep our eye on this and keep working on it, but we're very encouraged by the data. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gobin.
We think probably at this stage, we can't deep dive the analysis enough to know distinct causes. It's mostly the focus that we brought to the first time in college students. We're doing a lot more substantive dialogue and interaction with faculty members, with staff members, and just on campus in general.
Mentoring career coaches, are they involved in that at all?
Absolutely, the career coaches would be part of that, yes. Or success coaches, yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Northwest Campus, Dr. LeBlanc.
Thank you, Mrs. Robinson, Mrs. Appleman, and board members. It is an honor for me to share some of the student outcomes as a result of the hard work of our faculty. And this is just one example of many that I can give you, but it's very impressive. So if you look at this, the math, there are 3 math classes that we looked at. First time in college is the FTIC, and then the total lists all the other students. So from fall 2014 to fall 2015, you see a significant improvement in the success rate in all the categories, with the exception of math 0362, where on the total number it's about the same. But to increase the percentage that we've increased in 1 year is phenomenal. And some of the strategies that Ms. Cola mentioned about learning the students, taking time to learn the students' names, although they have hundreds of students, and creating a plan for the students that forget to come to class and do their work and things like that. The faculty are calling them, sending them texts, sending them email, and are quite persistent. I do have the department chair for the math faculty here, and that's Gary Garland, and if I could impose on him to stand, because he's very shy, but he's done an incredible work, and all of our math faculty have. So, thank you.
Thank you. Southeast Campus, Dr. Coppola.
Thank you. We're going to keep with the math sequence, but don't ask me any questions. Nicola left. In 2014, Tarrant County College was joined the other 49 colleges in the state in the new Mathways project, and we got our first data on the pilot. A team of our math department has worked with the University of Texas at Austin's Charles A. Dana Center on the new Mathways project. This project has looked at creating multiple pathways and acceleration that allows students to complete a college-level math course, as well as using intentional strategies to help the skill development. The Southeast Campus piloted 2 paired sections in the fall of 2015 semester to measure student success when non-STEM students jumped to 0362 or intermediate algebra into college-level math. So what you're seeing here is the student for the first 8 weeks took math 0361, which is the first level of developmental math, and instead of going into 0362 and then going to math 1314, they went right into a college-level math, which is contemporary mathematics or statistics, which satisfies every other degree program other than STEM-related. And those students then who passed, we had a 94% success rate of students that went to math 1332 and 89 that went to 1342. We're very excited about that. And this semester now we go into phase 2. We have 149 students enrolled in one of those 2 classes, either contemporary math or statistics, that took math 0361 last semester. So we're waiting to collect that data this semester.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
What's the difference
I knew
between?
you were going to ask a question. No, go ahead.
What's the difference between 1332 and?
Oh, those are 2
42
different classes. One is, and actually Brian Stewart's here, I know, he can answer. One is a contemporary math class, and one is the statistics class. College algebra is the class that most students sign up for, because all through high school they think, I got to take algebra. And what we found out that we have an agreement with University of Texas Arlington, as well as statewide work with UT Austin, that we actually have, they gave us a list to our advisors of all the majors they offer and the math requirement, and found that and what they agreed to do was take college algebra out of their non-STEM majors. So when our students transfer to UT Arlington to a non-STEM major, they're not required to take math 1314. They could take one of the other maths that are required.
Thank you. Trinity River Campus, Dr. Madison.
Chancellor Robinson. Good evening, Board of Trustees. Indeed, the college is positioning students to be competitive in a growing healthcare industry. In fact, this past year, there were over 17,000 job postings in the healthcare industry throughout the Metroplex. And we are leveraging our resources, faculty, technology, our industry partners, and data to drive employability of our students and workforce educational outcomes. Some of the outcomes that you see listed here are very impressive when you look at how we're comparing on the state level. For example, you'll see that 100% completion rates in our long-term care administration program and the radiologic technology program. And that's an impressive due to the wonderful, outstanding faculty that we have in those areas and the leadership. Also, I wanted to bring your attention to the 7 other technical programs that had completion rates of 85% or higher. For example, the PTA program, 100% completion rate. The state average is 91%, so higher than the state average. The Surge Tech program, 100% completion rate. The state average is 85%, higher than the state average. And also, respiratory care, 95% completion rate. The state average is 60%. So we're doing an impressive job in allied health and health science programs and in nursing. Also in nursing, it's important to note that 83% success rate, and that's an improvement of about 1 percentage point over last year. And this is in the midst of all the changes that have been going on with the nursing program. And in terms of the Texas licensure, I always want to say Florida, the Texas licensure, bad boy, the Texas licensure, the board of I can't say it now, but at any rate, we're doing extremely well. Any questions?
How many of these in the allied health go on to nursing programs? That's not part of your presentation, but
How many
I mean,
of our
when they get a degree or certificate in one of these areas, do they stay in that area, or do they use that as a stepping stone into nursing?
It depends. In some of the allied health areas, they may use that as a stepping stone into the nursing programs. But 100% of our students are placed, and 100% of them go on. The demand is that high. I mentioned a number, 17,000 job postings in the Fort Worth, Dallas area. Of those 17,000 jobs, about 14,000 of those jobs are for registered nurse, critical care nurse, et cetera. So the demand is high, and we are helping to, get our students jobs as soon as they graduate. So they're highly employable once they get that certificate, that credential.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Academic Affairs and Student Success, Dr. Gates Black.
Thank you, Chancellor Robinson, President Appleman, members of the board. During the 2013-2014 academic year, the board approved the hiring of 4 part-time online advisors. You'll remember that. And that was a departure for us because prior to that, all of our advising was face-to-face. So we hired those 4 part-time advisors in the spring of 2014, and we trained them, and they began their work. They do all of the same functions as the face-to-face advisors. They do case management of students. They meet with students on the required 2 visits for first-time in college students. They help them choose a major and a discipline. But what you have in front of you is data on fall 2014, and the blue box shows the total number of students who interacted with an online advisor, and then the red box are just the total number of visits, understanding the students can come back from multiple visits. And then on the right, you'll see fall 2015, huge jump. And I can explain some of that, and we've spent some time looking at it. When we began the online advising in fall of 2014, we limited it to online students taking the majority of their courses online. However, in fall of 2015, we opened it up to all students. So you see now that students have found online advising, and they are very much taking advantage of it. And in this budget year, you have approved the hiring of 5 more part-time advisors. And I can tell you that 4 of the 5 have been identified, and they are going through the last phases of the hiring process. So you can see the impact that those advisors are having already. Any questions?
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Board members, Mr. Marshall is presenting at your request. If you'll recall, in November, when you approved the Ellucian contract, you asked Mr. Marshall to come back and discuss the usage of the help desk, which is supported by the Ellucian contract, and also whether he could tie that into student success.
Hi, thank you for entertaining me. The central help desk, it's very difficult to tie that to individual student success because it's a service that the student engages for any type of technology. It's not necessarily instructional technology. So if they have an issue with registration, their passwords, you'll see if you look at the reports, the majority of the requests that we get from the students are password resets. So the ability for us to say this was directly or indirectly related to student success, it's very difficult to dive into the data and find out because they don't tell us, they just tell us their problem, they don't tell us what they do after their problem is solved. So we can look at the numbers and we know that by the numbers that they're calling us and getting access to and their problem solved immediately. The number I like to point to, particularly in the December statistics, are the tickets that are closed while the student is on the phone, which means they never have to talk to anybody on campus. They don't have to chase anybody down. And over 85% of those calls are solved the moment the student receives, the moment the student's on the phone. It takes anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes to solve their problem, and then they're off, and they're off back into instruction or they're back into their programs. But it's one of the few places where my staff gets to, or our contracted staff gets to actually talk to a student. We're pretty much a back office operation. We hardly ever get a chance to directly affect them. But if you take a look at all of the previous campus presidents, they all presented numbers. A lot of those numbers come from my staff. So that's where we perform. The faculty that were in the Mastery of Teaching Institute, some of them depend on the institutional research staff to participate in their research. So it's hard for me to say because the student had his password reset that now is contributable to his student success. I won't. I'm not. My ego is not that big. So, but I do want to say that it's a service that we extend from that used to be a service that we only did 8 hours a day. Now it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Password reset drives us all bananas.
Yes.
Is there any way to, like in a lot of software program, a lot of web pages and so forth, there's an automatic deal if you want to reset your password, and it doesn't involve an interaction with a person. And, you know, with certain data, you can reset your own password without that interaction. Have we looked into that?
We actually have that, and our students ignore it, so. And our faculty and staff ignore it too. It's right there on the web page that says if you forgot your password, click here. And then right below it, it says if you need help, call here. And they use the call here button a lot. But and the reason we still have that there is because we have a lot of applications. If you're calling, or if you need help from eBay, it's just because it's eBay's password. And they have, you're going to get help by changing eBay's password on that sign. We have so many different passwords because we're teaching so many different programs that have different passwords that the student sometimes is not sure which one he needs to change, and they're much more comfortable talking to somebody on the phone and walking them through it. But we do have the software in place that says, if you forgot your password, click here. And they just don't use it. Now, we're talking about turning off the ability for a student to call for password resets. So it'll actually force them to use the button on the screen. But sometimes they'll call, they know the help desk phone number, they might not even be at the screen. They just forgot it and they'll get it changed and then they'll remember it and go log in later.
I do have a question. Tim, where it says that the software it has a phone number at the bottom. Is that a programming thing where we could actually have them go through the process and then click the phone number, or is that something we control?
That's
or
a
is it
good idea.
software?
I think I'll take it back to the
Okay.
staff, because it would be nice that if they click, well, they'll call the number, but maybe if we put something like, if you need the phone number, click here, they could click there, and then it would take them into the reset your
Through the
own
reset
Yeah,
password, and then that would be something after the fact.
yeah. That's called a trap, but we like using traps. Yes,
I call it motivation. you
Yes.
know.
there's always a technical term.
Incentive,
Yes,
whatever,
yes.
you know. Glass half full, glass half
Yes.
empty. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other
Any
questions?
other questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that ends the Chancellor's report.
Okay. Board President's report, I've asked, Mr. Heed and Mr. Greenhill attended a real estate council presentation this morning, and heard some interesting news about things going on in Tarrant County, and asked Mr. Heed to give us a Reader's Digest version.
Yeah, this was a 3-hour session, and I'm going to just take it down to a few highlights. This was a forecast of population and how various segments of real estate are doing and so forth. The population in Tarrant County grew by 1.63% last year. In Texas, Texas grew by 1,500 people each and every day last year. Job growth was good, 2.2%. The dollar is strong, which is bad for exports, but it's good for imports and any company that is putting parts together that they get overseas into a finished product. Residential real estate prices increased by over 8%, and there's only a 2-month supply of housing on the market, which means they need to build more houses, although that will probably slow. Office growth and occupancy is very good. Apartments growth is good. Rents are increasing. Occupancy is 94%, which is incredible. The Trinity Renovation project is well underway. An apartment complex is going to be the first major project within the Trinity River project, now called Panther Island. The Tex Rail line to Dallas-Fort Worth will start in 2018. Oil is down, but may rebound to $45 or $50 by the end of this year. The good part about that is that the percentage of business related to the oil industry is down from 10%, where it was 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I guess, down to 5% now. So the effect on our local economy is small. The Walsh Ranch development is starting. It's the size of that development, it's bigger than the entire cities of Bedford and Hearst. So it's a huge development. Weatherford College is going to be part of that development on their side of the border. The Chisholm Trail developments are also starting. I mean, it's unbelievable. Project after project after project. It's estimated they'll have 9,100 new homes, 2,075 new apartments, 33,000 new residents in Fort Worth, 88,000 new residents in Tarrant County. Retail, some is up, some is down, and Stephen Koslick expressed the need for retail to really anticipate what consumers really need, because some of the big ones are going down and some of the new ones are coming up that actually can anticipate what is needed. Industrial growth is strong, with Hillwood leading the way. A Hillwood guy presented it. But there's some other big players in the area now, including Trammell Crow. In Dallas-Fort Worth, the largest job growth will be in the area of leisure and hospitality. Interesting. It's estimated that 25,700 new jobs will be needed, a growth of 7.5%. Class A office vacancy is now less than 10%. The rent rates are roughly $28.74 per square foot when we consider Radio Shack. And the guy even predicted that we will see a rent someplace in Dallas-Fort Worth in this area of $40 a square foot for Class A office space.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The IP committee asked that we consider, and I did invite in next month, Andy Taft, who is the president of Downtown Fort Worth, Inc., is going to present to us about projects specific to downtown Fort Worth. And if, as you drive to this building, if you're coming down Lancaster, you see we're surrounded by new construction and some other projects going on across the street. So we thought it might be important for us to find out who our neighbors are going to be. So I hope you'll find that interesting. To bring you up to date on the Chancellor's search for the new Chancellor, the request for proposals from search firms has gone out, and the deadline for receipt of those applications is the 4th of February. We would anticipate a scoring process to be completed and discussion and hopeful selection on or about the 15th of February. And at that time, we will take the next step. So thank you, those of you who have submitted suggestions on the website as to what you would be interested in seeing in your new leader. They've been interesting to read, and I'm collecting them and will share them with the board at the appropriate time. And now the news that you've all been waiting for. As a taxing entity, we are requested and required to vote on the board of the Tarrant Appraisal District. So Shelley, if you'll scroll down to the second part of the letter, which we received right around Christmas time. These gentlemen are your Tarrant Appraisal District board members: Johnny Bennett, John Molyneux, Michael O'Donnell, Joe Potoff, and Mark Wood. So these are the guys you see when you don't like what your tax bill looks like. So we congratulate them, and we'll look forward to working with them for the next 2 years. Stop mumbling out there.
It's not Bonnie Bennett.
Yeah. All right, we are going to go into closed session, and we will likely have possibly one item to vote on when we return, but you're welcome to leave. Deliberation of real property, Section 551.072, Texas Government Code, addressing the purchase, improvement, exchange, lease, or value of real estate, including recommendations from the institutional plan. Deliberation on personnel matters, Section 551.074, Texas Government Code. The discussion will include appointment and search process for the new chancellor. And finally, consultation with the attorney, Section 551.071, Texas Government Code, for purposes of a private consultation with the board's attorney on any subjects or matters authorized by law. The deliberation will include any pending or contemplated litigation. So we will recess, and our next meeting will be Thursday night, February the 18th. See you then. Thank you for coming.
Oh, no problem. I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to make it. Oh, no, I could make some things.
Reconvene the Board of Trustees meeting at 10 to 9, and there is no business to be transacted, so we are adjourned.
So it's just modular and stair steps, so until you, and a lot of it has to do with remediation. Before you can do calc or algebra or credit, you have to know some of those concepts. And so some of those concepts